What is up, and welcome back to the channel. We are your Colorado real estate family. Super interesting topic today. We're going to actually be pushing you a little bit as to why you should be moving into and buying a house in Colorado right now.
Let's go. All right, if this is the first time to our channel, Chelsea and Pete here, and if you're interested in moving into Colorado, Denver, or any of the surrounding cities, do yourself a favor, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. We put out 2 videos a week.
Yeah, guys, we'd like to be your boots on the ground experts. That way, if you're planning to move into Colorado from another state, listen, we give you all the information you need to know. We're talking about home prices. We're talking about activities, cost of living in different cities. We like to cover it all for you. With that, licensed real estate agent here. Love helping you guys out with all your real estate needs. We're helping you out on a constant basis, and we love it. Thank you so much for all the support. And then this topic, we're going to be really diving into why you need to move into Colorado right now, because a few of you that we've been working with, you kind of been hitting us recently with, before the timeline was like, yeah, you know, maybe 6 months, a year, 2 years out. And you're like, listen, stuff's going down. I need to buy right now. And so that's why we decided to put this video out for you.
Okay, so we're going to be covering 3 reasons that we think that you should be buying in Colorado right now. One of the first ones is interest rates. And this is huge because a lot of the clients, I've been talking with a lot of our clients recently who were just kind of waiting around. They're like, you know, maybe in a year or so, we will move to Colorado. I'm like, okay, absolutely. Let's see, you know, how we can get you all the information you need over the time. We can watch the market together. And a few of you guys have called me recently saying, you know, I don't think we should wait.
Now, the Fed's announcing this recently, right? They just said this next week. So right now, what is this, the last week? Going to be May 1st this Sunday. They're saying next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, expect possibly a 0.5 point adjustment, you know, and so just due to inflation. Guys, that's going to affect interest rates. And with that, guess what? It's going to decrease your buying power. What does that look like? So let's just throw some numbers out there. So let's look at like a $400,000 mortgage, right? At a 4% interest rate. Let's say if you're qualified up to that $400,000, if that interest rate goes from 4 to 5, guess what that decreases your buying power to? $355. That is how much it decreases your buying power for sure. And so it's like, if you wait that extra year, you're going to be buying less house because of those interest rates.
So the second reason that you need to move to Colorado right now is our increasing home prices. Just to give you an example, in January, Denver Metro, we had 1,500 properties live, which is about 11,000 properties or houses less than normal in January. So that just shows you a little bit of the supply-demand issue. And so when we are talking about what that does for the supply-demand, because we don't have the supply but the demand is still there, they're expected to see Denver have double-digit back-to-back this year over the next. And we haven't had that since 2015, 2016, or even before that, 1998 to 2000. So it's been a long time since we've seen that back-to-back double-digit gain.
Yeah, so let's kind of talk about those rates. By the way, look at this one over here, you know, analytical with the housing mortgage, all that stuff. I mean,
I know, it's like very into it because it's exciting. It's crazy.
I mean, we've talked about this how many times, guys. Housing prices are rising in Denver like crazy, and it wasn't because of the reasons that you thought, which we talked about in a video. What was it, 2 videos or so ago?
Go check that out if you
Go check it out. We talked about how the prices are increasing, but it's not due to the influx of people moving into Colorado, right? So what are we kind of looking at with those numbers? So like, let's talk Denver right now. So year over year, Denver increased 13% from right now, we're in April of 2022 to April 2021. So from 2021 to 2022, it increased 13%. How about a 24-hour month? Let's look at what did it look at like back in 2020, which you're looking at a 26.6% increase in home prices. So that's, you know, double digits. We're looking at double digits. All right, let's bring down another top city in Colorado. We're talking about Aurora, Colorado, right? So we're looking at 19.11% increase from 2021 to 2022. Talking about April, of course. What did we look at the last 24 months? We're looking at a 34, almost 35% increase. Guys, these are housing prices. Think about that. If you're looking at buying a house and you have a price point and then it increases by that much, it's going to be that much harder to find a house. This is why we're talking about this. We're not sitting here trying to push you, buy now. Yeah. It's about your buying power. If you have that buying power, every year that you wait to purchase a home in Colorado, it decreases more and more. And there's all kinds of different cities and states that this is happening in. But if you're looking at moving into Colorado specifically, that's why we really wanted to cover this stuff.
Well, and the other thing too is, we can sit on the other side of this camera right now and be excited about these gains where you should be sitting now, right? Like right now, we're trying to get you home so you can be in the same position that we are next year or the year after that, seeing that your house prices are increasing and that your equity is going up as well. So.
Yeah, guys, and we're actually going to dive in that towards the end of this video. I mean, we're not just saying this to say this. We take action on this as well too, and so we have some plans that we've been doing personally to make sure that we're taking advantage of these cheaper prices, of these lower interest rates. So we'll kind of dive into that towards the end of this video too. So another city that we really like to talk about is Fort Collins, Colorado. What does that look like with the numbers? So year over year, again, we're talking about April 2021 to April of 2022. There was a 16.41 increase in the value of your homes. And I'm talking about your median home sales price is what we're talking about. I didn't say that initially, but yeah, so median home sales price increased by 16.41%, and we're looking at the last 24 months. This is insane. 40% it's increased the last 24 months in Fort Collins. We're talking April 2020 up to April of 2022. You think that's crazy? I'm gonna keep on piling it on. So it's like once to tell you, yeah, that's crazy. This is crazy, and then this is crazy. Well, this one's even more insane.
Well, it's because of what it is.
Yeah, we always talk about Boulder, right? Boulder is the
always blow it out of the water. Boulder.
It's that city. We always talk about the high housing prices that are in Boulder. Okay, so let's just talk about 40% super high over a 24-month period. Well, how about Boulder? Those last 12 months, we're looking at a 36, almost 30%. 37% increase over the last 12 months. So it's just insane. These numbers will fluctuate a little bit because month over month, it depends on how good of a month April was in 2021 as compared to 2022. But it is a good indicator as to how much these housing prices are increasing in these cities. And so Colorado, this is on a constant upward trend. I've talked about this so many times. I've had clients who've been telling me for I feel like 4 or 5 years, I'm going to wait for the market to crash. I'm going to wait for this to happen. Do you have any idea how much equity they could have gained if they would have bought back in 2014 or 2015, 2016? Any of those years, they could be sitting on some serious equity right now. And so it's like you can either play that game where it's like, I'm going to wait for it to happen, or just be like, no, I'm going to take advantage of it now. Because even if we do have a dip, housing prices, no matter what, are always going up. There's always an upward trend. So even if you have a dip over a couple years, it keeps on going up. Look at housing prices now compared to back in 2008, 2009, right? Yes, we did have that huge housing crash, but I guarantee
we should have kept our houses during that time.
Well, yeah, of course. But I mean, you can't tell me that housing prices aren't higher now than they were before they crashed back in 2008. And this is something to really look at. Even if that does happen, like I said, I can't predict the future. We don't have a crystal ball to tell you what's going to happen with anything. But I'm telling you right now that the prices are still going up, and the trends are showing us they are going to continue to go up.
Yeah, and the other thing too is in March, actually something happened. We had 996 homes come on the market. Now this is pretty normal because we're hitting springtime, right? And so even when we're helping, our listings and anybody who's selling through us, we always say, hey, it's kind of best to really go through spring. Of course, that's kind of affected by rates, time after time, but typically it's hot during the spring and we start seeing a little bit of an influx in some of the listings. So that's really helped us balance out the supply and demand a little bit. And so that's why we're telling you buy now. We just had a bunch of things go on the market. That's going to affect the pricing a little bit because the inventory is a little bit higher than it has been January and February. So.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, so from personal experience, from the systems, all the emails I receive on the real estate side of things, I do think that the market is softening a little bit in Colorado because number one indicator I always see is that it's softening a little bit is I'm getting these emails from agents who listings aren't selling over the weekend, and so they email me saying, hey, do you have a buyer right now for this property, because it didn't sell over the weekend like it was the first quarter of this year where they're blowing up like crazy.
Well, we're also seeing people extending their deadline till Tuesday. So because a lot of people are being competitive over the weekend, they know that a couple people may or may not have gotten the house that they originally wanted and they had a backup, and so they extend their deadline until Tuesday so that they can put in another offer before the deadline hits for the second house. And so we're starting, you used to never see anything like that. It was all like you couldn't find anything on Monday. That was all, everything went under contract and that's it.
Yeah, typically just show through Sunday and then they're like, all offers due by Sunday and we're going to have you an answer by Monday.
Well, and here's the thing, like we just put one of our properties on the market, one of our long-term rentals that we do not want to be in the long-term rental world anymore. we like our short-term rental world.
Yeah, we like our Airbnbs.
Yeah, that's our style.
Yep.
And so we just put ours on, and it didn't sell over the weekend.
No.
And so it's something to think about, that we are starting to see a little bit of a slow, meaning it's not selling over the weekend, but we are seeing a little bit of a change.
Yeah, a little bit. All right, cool. So now we're going to dive into the third reason why you need to purchase in Colorado right now, and then we're going to talk about rents, right? I don't know if you guys are familiar, so we like to play this game Cash Flow, and it's all about your leverage, right? How can you make your money work for you? Well, when you're sitting there throwing your money into rent that constantly goes up year after year after year, instead of purchasing a house where your money's getting you more purchasing power year after year after year, your money's worth less, right? Because you're just throwing that money away. And with that, rents are going up like insane. So like Denver, we're talking like 20 to 2021, rents went up 21, almost 22%. And they're going up like crazy. Listen, us as landlords, we loved it, okay? Because it's like, all right, now we can, raise rents to this much now. But on the purchasing side of things, guys, that's not a smart way to utilize your money. I understand that not everyone could purchase a house right now, but think about it. If you really want to make your money work for you the best as possible, purchasing a house is a great investment. I do say investment because a lot of people say your house is an investment. BS, because you know how many HELOCs and such that we've taken out of our own properties to help us elsewhere. Yes, your house is an investment. And so just kind of think about that. So let's look at, like 2020, a one bedroom in the Colorado area. I'm not going to dive specifically into Denver. I'm just going to say Colorado. You're looking at 1574 is how much was for a one bedroom. How much did that raise in 2021? It rose all the way up to 1919. And so that's how much rents jumped from a one bedroom, place all the way from year over year. One bedroom. One bedroom. I mean, how much was like, I'm trying to think of what we rented back in the day when we were kids. Weren't you paying like $800?
I was $800, and at the end of my renting, it was $1,200, but that was like a bigger two-bedroom.
Wasn't it a two-bedroom? Yeah. This was like, wasn't it next to Stone's Lake?
Yeah.
Like in
it was
a good super popular area. Like back in the day, that was what, like 2013, I think.
Yeah, 750 was my first one. So
so it's just, rents are insane.
Yeah. When we were interviewing people down in Denver and talking about, one of their biggest obstacles, if you haven't checked out that video, go check it out. But some of them were not, they had not bought here yet, like the younger gals.
Yep.
And they were saying like it was hard to find rent because it's outrageous. So
there was one gal who said that she lived on the Western Slope and she had moved closer to Denver because rents were so insane there. And it's something that we're seeing on a constant basis.
Yeah, so the people who don't own, even here, they moved here, they hadn't thought about owning quite yet. They're like, oh my gosh, I've just seen rent go up and up. And I kind of feel like a lot of them are leaning like, man, I need to secure something for myself. So let's talk about investors for a second. Peter had talked about this a little bit as far as investing in your own house and how that's an investment. But let's talk about how Peter and I plan to build our wealth and, kind of our legacy for our children. And that is investing in a house. If the rents are really, really high and you are an investor, why not take advantage of that? Buy the house, have somebody else pay your mortgage and profitability on that, and then at the same time get your double-digit gains on the
rents.
Equity and all that.
Yep.
So why not have somebody else pay your mortgage while you are getting that double-digit equity on the house that you purchased, and now you're just building wealth over time, and somebody else is paying for it.
Yeah, well, and rents are going up, right? And so there are a few articles out there that are saying how rents might soften a little bit in the Denver metro area. Like I said, I mean, no one can predict the future. I know there's these reporters out there who think that they're super experts in real estate and rentals and all that stuff. And there's, the number of times that you could throw, something up in the air and see where it lands, I don't know.
Okay, you ready?
It's just, they're not the experts that they think to be, and no one that I know of, not unless you guys know some Marvel character or something like that that's alive these days, can predict the future. No one can do that. And so we're just basing this off of what we've kind of seen in the past and what we still see coming in the future as well, too.
Yeah, and the good thing, too, about Colorado is our colleges. And so, even in Denver, I think 1/3 of the population still rents. And a lot of that is because we have the colleges. We have UNC, CU, CSU, DU, School of Mines.
CCU.
You name it. We have college everywhere. And so what that means is that those college students don't typically buy.
Yeah.
And so it's good for investors. If you are going to be an investor and you want to purchase a house, that you're going to have pretty sustainable rent. Even if it's different renters, you're going to have pretty sustainable rent. And property managers aren't that expensive.
So I don't know if I would want to rent to college students. Oh, actually,
it is a high risk
this is what I would have said. But then we had renters who were college students.
They were the best.
And they were amazing.
They were the best.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that I think back to the college days and stuff and how those houses were being treated. I'm like, ugh.
We're going streaking! Yeah!
But
That's because it's his college. I was like super nice and not destructive or not a ton of parties. Like I was probably like the dream renter when I was younger. Like I didn't have anyone over. I just did spa day at the house and like.
I promise it wasn't like Animal House status or nothing like that. We just, we'd like to have a good time in our 20s and late teens. It's something that you
I think
do.
the worst thing I ever did was, hanging out with the flower here in Denver, and that was like the most I ever did.
Now the what?
The flower. I didn't want to say it on camera.
The flower. Oh, I was like the flower.
That's like the worst thing I ever did. I think those kids just chill and hang out. It's probably a good idea.
That's true. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, that's too much. All right, moving on.
Cool. All right, so let's kind of get this a little bit light. Why else you should buy in Denver or Colorado right now?
Bonus right here.
Bonus. There you go. Denver's gonna look like they're gonna have a good Broncos team again here soon, which is, it's something to be excited about. I know if you're moving here from another state, you might have your team that you already like and all those good things. Because I know if I moved somewhere else, I'd still be a huge Broncos fan. But with Russell Wilson coming in, they're making some great trades. Broncos might be fun to watch again because I know his last couple of years they haven't been fun at all. So.
He is so excited because we're actually going to go after this and we're going to go and watch the draft and do all the fun stuff, eat some wings, things like that because people have been craving.
Even though we only have like one pick in the round 2 and 0 in the 1, but I think we've made some great offseason trades and such, so I think we're going to be in good condition.
Can you tell he's a football fan? So all you football fans out there, we are going to get a team. It's going to be good. Come on down.
Well, in the Bronco games, even if you're not a Broncos fan, the Bronco games are a ton of fun. They're nothing as rowdy as, say, I've heard like Philly games are insane. Like you do not want to wear someone else's jersey because you're getting, rocks thrown at you and crap. But it's a lot of fun. There are some like hecklers, but it's all in good fun. Everyone is having a great time. So just in general, like I said, if you're not a big Broncos fan, the games are a ton of fun, and it's even funner when they're winning. So.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We do these videos for you. So if there's topics that you're interested in, please comment down below. We are getting your emails and texts about different topics. We appreciate you so much.
And along those lines, guys, love helping you out with all your real estate needs. We're going to throw the phone number in right below, right there. Give us a call. Like I said, if you're calling, you're most likely going to get Chelsea right here, not me, because she's the one who's answering the phones. So until next time, we love you. Bye.
Bye.